Awesome. Okie dokie. Look at that. Technical fun stuff, and then we get going. And then we've got three people coming in right now. Awesome. Cool. Okay, well, so we're live in the high level tool snapshots, resources, and automations group, and got a bunch of people who just joined right now. We've got more people coming right now, so we'll just give everyone a couple minutes to join in here, and then we'll get started. We've got Gary Caps here from My CRMSIM, and he's going to walk us through some really cool stuff with how to use their system to send out SMS messages without having to set up A2P or out without having to send. I think with also you don't have to spend per SMS. Is that correct?
That's it, mate. So no A2P, fixed cost SMS messaging for high level.
Awesome. Yeah, we'll just give it a couple more minutes and then I'll try to do a better intro and then we'll
That's
we'll
all
we'll
good.
go from there. Awesome.
Good afternoon, guys.
Hey, good afternoon, Marco.
Hey, Marco.
How you
Anthony,
doing?
Chad, Antoine, and Denise, they're all here. Awesome. Glad you guys
Hey,
see you
everyone.
guys
Does,
join in.
Seems right.
does it connect with WhatsApp as well?
Yes. Yeah.
Just
Wow,
just released WhatsApp, so can send WhatsApp
that's
with
amazing.
SMS backup.
So all the workflows, all the communications will are integrated
Yes.
once once
Yep.
once we connect with my sim, my CRM sim.
Yep. So
Amazing.
yep, we can run through all of that in here and show you guys an
Cool.
example and how it
Just let
works.
a
And
few more people come in.
we kind of give you everything that we can to help with that with workflows, snapshots, the whole shebang, basically, much as we can.
All right. Okay, cool. Well, it's 2:02. I'm Jason Urban. Welcome to GHL Power Tools. I don't know if we're gonna call this Power Hour or whatever, but we're doing a special segment that I'd like to do more of here in 2025 is have more experts in the high level ecosystem come on and tell us about some of the really awesome things that they're doing. And today we have Gary Caps with us, and Gary Caps is from My CRM Sim. He also has an agency and everything like that as well. But one of the cool things that they've developed is they've built this SMS system that integrates with high level that allows you to avoid doing A2P registration because everybody knows what kind of a pain that is. And also with the sole proprietor thing just going out the window this week, it causes a lot more confusion for people. But then they also have made it's a flat fee integration where you can send, I think it's unlimited SMS messages through their system. And he's gonna walk us through how the system works, what's the benefits, what's cons of it, why you'd want to use it, and how you guys can get started as well. So I'll say hello, Gary, and welcome.
Hey, Jason. Thank you, mate. So yeah, 2 o'clock for you. It's 8 a.m. for me the next day though, mate,
Yeah, I
because
was wondering, yeah.
I'm in the future in Australia, and you just said it's 0 degrees for you, and it's probably already about 28 degrees for me here because it's like really warm.
Well, I
Like
can't
we're in
I can't
summer.
wait for that kind of temperature again. And like I said, yeah, we're heading across Canada. We got to leave at like 2 o'clock this morning in the morning in like in a few hours, and we're stepping into like -20 degree weather.
Oh wow.
It's
Couldn't even. I couldn't even,
no,
mate.
it's gonna be fun.
Um, but mate, thank you so
Anyways,
much for having me on, and thanks for the intro. And yeah, that's what we do. Um, I'll cut right to the chase of like the
yeah,
long and the short of it, how it actually works, and then why we actually did this, who it's good for, like who it suits, good use cases. There's pros and there's cons, okay, obviously, like with everything. So I want to kind of go through all that, make sure people have a really good understanding of how it all works as well, and also the new WhatsApp integration that we've just released as well. So now we can plug in WhatsApp, have SMS as a backup, do the whole thing. So, that
awesome.
opens up different markets
I
for
know
us as
I've
well. I
talked
know.
with more and more agencies who are coming into our system, or I just have discussions with, and they are using your system. Yeah, I've talked to a few people just this week who are using it. So I'm interested to learn more about it as well.
Okay, perfect. So, I guess the long and the short of it, let me just grab this here because I've got a bunch of them next to me anyway, is that
Yep.
what we've done is set it up so that we can connect a Android device like this to high level, and then we send the messages through the Android device and just use that mobile phone as your SMS gateway. And that's it really. This just becomes your modem for your SMS gateway. Okay.
So can you
So
use it with any phone, or does it have to be a specific like dedicated phone to it, or
So it has to be an Android phone, okay? It doesn't
Mhm.
work with an iPhone, okay? The WhatsApp integration will work with an iPhone, and I know we need to try and make a better job, I guess, of sort of explaining this to everybody and how that all works and so forth, right? Because people get a little bit confused with that, right? But yeah, pretty much any Android phone will work. There's some specs to that, like
Mhm.
yeah, sort of RAM and so forth and memory. It's got to sort of be a bit of a later model. Um, really cheap ones will still work, but cheap phones are just rubbish. We would
Are
suggest people
cheap?
spend,
Yep.
yeah, they're cheap, right? So they break, they shut down, the app might stop running in the background, stuff like that. So we've had a few reports of that where people have bought really cheap phones. There was actually a guy in the US who messaged me the other day though. He's getting phones for like $30 and they're working.
Okay.
So that's one of the things as well. Like we're trying to gather some info because we've got around about 300 agencies now using our system, like
Yeah, nice.
globally. Like I'm in Australia, so I don't know all the phones that you can buy in the US and in
Yeah.
Europe and plans and so forth. So we're trying to consolidate that
With
info.
this system, like I know because I talk with a lot of agencies in Australia and other countries as well. Can you does this you don't have to do you don't have to do the Australian registration either, do you? Do you have to like because I know it's kind of a pain to get your number verified and stuff in Australia too, isn't it?
Correct. Yes.
Yeah, get two large unsweet.
Yeah, just
Chad's ordering
somebody's
his
ordering
breakfast.
coffee.
Correct. Yeah. So we have a thing called reg bundles in Australia, which is similar to A2P, not as strict, but very similar. So, I mean, I'll explain. That's basically why we sort of got into using SMS this way, because we're in Australia. We had reg bundles, which are a pain. We'd have to go to a client, say, look, we need your company details, we need a company bill. Um, there was three things that we needed, which I can't even remember the third thing now because I
It's like
haven't
the
done it for
address and
so long.
everything as well. I know we've set it up for a couple clients and
Yeah, it's like
uh,
a bill that shows where they're
yeah.
physically registered to,
One
which
of
that
the
can be a pain. You've got a sole
one of the
proprietor
problems
that,
we had was that our client's registration was with their lawyer of where they registered their corporation, and then it wasn't their business address, so there was a whole thing that had to go on with that. But
yeah,
so we can basically avoid those things. So you have an app that you install on an Android phone, and then that connects with your guys' system and high level that so how to walk us through how it sends the text messages out from high level to the system.
correct. So maybe I'll just share my screen and then I will explain a little bit. It might be a bit easier if that works. And
Yeah, sure.
I'll just say as well, just before I do jump into that. So
Oh yeah, go ahead.
the reason why we kind of got into this, like I said, in Australia, we had reg bundles, which we had like years ago before A2P came in for everyone in the States. Like we've had reg bundles forever since I've been using high level, right? So we always had this registration blockage, but then the cost of SMS as well, right? So for us in Australia, it's around about 5.5 US cents, give or take, to send an SMS message to send one, right? So that really adds up.
Right.
So, that can be a problem with clients. And I had conversations with clients where like we used to give $30 worth of credit on our plans for clients. But then you'd explain to them at the beginning and say, hey, look, we give you $30 worth of credit. If you use that up, you'll pay per message. And then sometimes you get into these conversations where it's like, well, it's actually not per message, it's per segment. And they go, what's a segment? You go, well, it's 158 characters. If you go over that, it'll only be two messages. Then
Right.
they're
Yeah.
confused. So that's a bad conversation to get into with clients, which I've done a few times, and realize that that's not a good idea. But then they use up their $30 worth of credit, and then, they get our invoice, and then they get this little snip on their card for an extra $10 or whatever it might be. And then they're like, why have we been charging an extra $10 this month? You go, well, because you used all your credit up. But then they're like, yeah, but I don't want to pay an extra $10. You're like, yeah, but remember the conversation we had in the agreement where we signed up and
Yeah.
we give you this much credit, but if you use it too much of it or you go over it, then you'll pay extra. And they go, oh, I don't remember that. You go, well,
I was,
by now you're in yeah, by now you're in a 30-minute conversation about $10. You're just like, oh my God, I don't care.
I heard another agency in a high level group, they're saying that one of their clients went and did a chargeback on all the fees over the last like 3 years or something like that. So they ended up getting stuck with like a $3,000 or $4,000 SMS bill because they charged back all those fees that they weren't clear about
Yeah.
upfront.
Yeah, so that's it.
Yeah.
So even if you are clear, they can still charge back. You can still end up in these weird conversations that just take forever. You're re-explaining it,
Yeah.
and if it's like $10, I don't want to have a half-hour conversation about $10. It's just not worth it. But you have to. So with using the system we have now, and that we've had for a long time anyway, we've been using, it's like fixed fee. We don't have to charge anymore. It's like all your SMSs are included and away you go. And there's no conversation that needs to be had.
Awesome.
Now, with that as well, with the fixed fee and unlimited SMS, so it's unlimited SMS according to the SIM plan that you're on. Okay.
Okay.
That varies from country to country, provider to provider. Okay. They all kind of have unlimited SMS quote marks within our fair use policy. And what's their fair use policy? Who knows? Some of them are very transparent with that and they will give you a number. Okay.
Right.
Some of them just say, yep, if you send too many text messages that you cause a degradation to our system, to the detriment of other users, we're going to shut you down. Okay.
Okay.
So it's unlimited, but it's unlimited according to what they will let you send. We don't limit it on our end. We will allow you to send as many messages as your SIM card will allow you to send. Okay.
Right.
But we can't control that because we don't know what the SMS provider that you're using will allow. And I'll give you a couple of examples of that. So, like in Australia, we can get away with a SIM card here with sending around about 20,000 messages a month on one SIM card. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Pretty good. It's not
Yeah.
unlimited, but it's pretty good. That's what they say, it's unlimited, but we know we can get up to about 20,000 before, we'll start having issues with that. So that's pretty good.
Yeah.
In the UK, I know a particular SIM plan because one of my clients told me about it. They went through, got this unlimited plan, and it's unlimited, but to 300 contacts per month when they actually found that out, went into the
Oh.
fair use policy and rang them. So yeah, they sent the message to like their 301st contact, and then they got in trouble with their carrier. Okay.
Okay.
So it all depends, on what they're actually providing. So you need to kind of find that out with the carriers,
You guys
basically.
probably
So the
have
way
quite a decent number of people in your group too that could probably help out with like what might be a good carrier, what might be a good plan to go with.
we do, and we have a list of those that we're
Yeah.
compiling for different countries. So we've got a list. I know, like in the US, you're much better off on like a business plan in the US than like one of the cheap $10 tele cards. I know you're in Canada,
Yeah.
mate, but I'm assuming probably most people here are sort of US based. But yeah, in the US, generally business plans seem to be better because they still do seem to have monitoring and registration and be more strict in the US, basically.
Okay.
So you're not going to get away with like 20,000 SMSs on a $10 card in the US a month.
Right.
That's just not going to happen. Like in Australia, I've got a $65 a year plan. And I can do about
Okay.
20,000. I can do about 20,000 messages a month on that, which is
That's
crazy,
awesome.
right? For 65 bucks
Just
a year.
just text messaging, hey?
Yeah.
Yeah, for 65. Yeah, that's awesome.
So we have that information, those plans. So that's
Yeah, okay.
kind of the good and the good and the bad. We like to
Yeah.
make sure that people understand that. And you can't just go out and mass blast on it as well. So even for us, like where we've got a big limit, 20,000 a month, I can't just send like 1,000 text messages at once because it's going through a cell phone. All right.
Right.
So obviously you've got to have, or they've got methods in place to monitor, traffic and the SMSs that are going out, and they're looking for like human emulation, right? So if you're sending it faster than you kind of can, the rule of thumb, like faster than you're typing it, hitting send, getting a reply, typing it, sending it, then you're going to get flagged, okay? Because you can't just blast them out, okay? You can end up
Right.
getting your your SIM card blocked for that. So we've got workflows in place where you can drip messages out. We randomize the time, just change the messages slightly so that you're not sending the same message again and again and again, which is pretty simple to do. And we provide all that stuff to set that up. So, that's the good, and also the bad, I guess, is that you can't do that blast. So where we are perfect for is messaging for, general conversation, general workflows. You can certainly use AI bots because it's conversational, and that's really good because, it looks like you're having a conversation back and forth. So that's perfect. Where it doesn't work for is like text blast, 10-minute reminders before a webinar, for example. Can't do that. You'll get your card flagged
because you have to send it out by drip anyway, so there's going to be a little bit of a delay in there. And then also just like I can see, the phone networks being like, you just sent out, a couple thousand text messages, or you've been sending out 1,000 messages like all day today, kind of thing, to different people. So that could bring a flag. But for general contractors, for people who are, I mean, even for anyone who is probably doing like the sole proprietor, kind of registrations for their customers, and just setting up the simple one where I think it was like 3,000 messages is your limit, per day, or segments, but where it's just conversational stuff, right? Appointment reminders, conversations back with AI, stuff like that, general inquiries, that kind of thing. That'd be perfect for it.
Yeah, absolutely perfect for that. Perfect for database reactivations as well. If you want to do a DBR, because you never really want to send them out in a blast anyway, you're going to drip them over a few days and a bit of time just to
Yeah.
make sure that, you can manage the incoming inquiries, or you've got a bot, managing those things for you as well. You don't want to just blast it all out at once. So absolutely perfect for all of that stuff. That's what we use it for.
Yeah, I know we chatted into your group there, back, I think it was in November. We were talking about database reactivations, and it seems like a lot of people in your community there are doing database reactivations using your system.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly right. So like we had one of our clients the other day, and he posted in our groups. We've got a Facebook group, and he put in there he had an old list of a couple of thousand clients, and he just dripped out in a DBR just before Christmas.
Yeah.
Ended up with 167 appointment meetings
Nice.
for,
Yeah, that's
and
awesome.
he's like, this is an old list, and now I've got 167, and we give everybody free AI bots as well. So he set that up with with the AI bots that we provide to
Yeah.
manage and conversationally book them into an appointment. So for us, it costs him, it's like $100 a month basically. He's
Yeah.
like, he said if he had an appointment setter and someone doing that and managing all that stuff, he'd be looking at in Australia about 80,000 Australian dollars per year.
Yeah.
And he's paying 100 US dollars, so 150 Aussie dollars a month. So for $15,000, $1,500 a year,
Yeah.
he's got the equivalent of an $80,000 employee. He's just wrapped,
Yeah,
as you
that's
can
awesome. And
imagine.
then are you guys using the high level AI system, or do you guys have a different something that you guys are using?
So we have a different one. So we provide an AI bot. Basically, it's a consolidator, which we tell people anyway.
Yeah.
We white label it as our own, and we give that away. So that's the
Okay,
bot that
right
we
on.
provide for free.
Very
So it's a
cool. That's
good,
huge.
robust bot. Yeah, it's a good, robust bot. People are paying, $100 a month for that on its own. We just
Yeah.
give that away for free. So that's pretty cool.
I got a question here from Mayan. How about countries I can't currently text through high level? Would it work? Can I just connect my SIM from any country?
Yes, mine. As long as you can buy a phone and a SIM card, you can connect it. It's that simple.
An Android phone, like a decent Android phone with you probably wouldn't recommend using the phone that you normally use to make phone calls and stuff on, would you, like, or you would have to have a dedicated phone to it?
Correct. Good question. So we wouldn't recommend using like your personal number, or, if you're a local business and you've got that number that you've had for 15 years that you get
Yeah.
all your referrals on and so forth. We would not recommend to an agency when they take that client on that they use that number in case something happens and they end up getting it blocked. You could send out a database reactivation by mistake, not tick the box for dripping it out and blast it out and get that SIM card blocked.
Right.
Personally, I've got one SIM card blocked ever in almost 4 years of doing this because something happened where a webhook accidentally fired and sent out like 2,500 Google review requests like that.
Oh,
And our
okay.
SIM
Yeah.
card got blocked. We were like, what happened here? And then we realized, oh, okay. So, accidents happen and you
Yeah.
don't want to be responsible for your client losing their number that they've had for years and they get their referrals from. So you can
Yeah.
set up a separate number for that.
So is
If
it
they
just
have a,
about like when you sign up a new client, then you go out, grab a new phone, grab a new SIM card, and then set them up like that?
Yeah, so it kind of depends a little bit. So some agencies will have, so like what we do, we have some of the phones. I actually hold some of the phones here for some clients,
Hmm.
and we just basically set it up. We don't even tell the client. They don't even need to know. It's just like,
Right. They don't need to know.
cool, cool, you're on board. We set up the phone. We're done in like 20 minutes, basically. Your SMS is set up. You're good to go. We have some phones with some clients where we just like set them up and we're just like, hey, here you go. This is your CRM phone. You just need to keep that turned in, uh, plugged on, plugged in, and turned on. That's what it's
Yeah.
at all times, and your messages are going to go through there. We've also got ways, we've got documentation. So we've got clients who actually get their, like our agency clients using our system, who will get their clients to buy a phone. Okay. And an example of this is we had one of our clients and their proposal to their clients was, look, what we can do, we can set you up on this system. This is the way it works. And they'll give them a brief explanation of, we'll run it through a phone. If you want us to get the phone and hold the phone for you, we'll charge you $500 for the phone and to set it up. And then the SIM plan will charge you $50 per month for the SIM plan. Okay. Or if you would like, you can buy that phone yourself. This is the phone, the
Yeah.
model, and it costs $100 or whatever it costs, $150. And we'll give you instructions on how to set it up. And if you buy the same SIM plan, it will only cost you $15 a month. And this is the SIM plan. Which option would you prefer? Would you prefer to pay us the $500 or would you prefer to get it yourself and buy the SIM plan yourself?
Yeah.
99% of people are going to get it themselves and save that money, right? So that's one way of kind of dealing with that. And there are other clients as well, maybe they've got a dual SIM phone or they've got an old Android phone. Because sometimes I know when they've had that conversation, people will go, oh, I've actually got an old Android phone. I've got two in
Right.
my drawer. Can I use that? Yeah, sure. Of course, you can use that. Just buy yourself a SIM card, then you don't have to pay for the phone. Um, we do have clients as well that do set up their existing clients, particularly in the contracting space. They will use an existing client's phone and their number. Okay. We just like,
Right.
buyer beware with that. These are the risks. Okay. You have to understand that if you get your client's number blocked, that's a risk. All right. If
Right.
you're
So
just
you're better
doing,
off going out to get a new SIM card just to be safe.
I would recommend it. But if you're just doing appointment reminders, I mean, technically it will work, but if you do something wrong, you don't want to lose your client's number. That's what
Absolutely.
we'd say. And the same for WhatsApp as well. If you've got clients with a personal WhatsApp number that they're using, you can connect it, absolutely, and technically it'll work. And if something goes wrong and you lose that number, then that's going to be a problem. With WhatsApp numbers, that's definitely a problem because they're going to be harder to get back. And if you've ever tried to get hold of any support through Meta, you know how
Yeah.
challenging that is, right? Getting
Absolutely.
anywhere. So that's hard. If you lose a SIM card, you can get those back. The one that I talked about earlier that I lost when we
Yeah.
when we burned one, I literally just rang up the SIM card provider. He said, "Hey, oh," just acted dumb, which was pretty easy.
Yeah.
Our SIM card's not working anymore. What's happened? And they went, "Oh, it looks like something's happened. Have you done anything? Have you connected it to something?" Well, I was like, "No, don't know what you're talking about." And you're talking to level one support
Yeah.
somewhere,
Yeah.
and then they're like, "Okay, well, I'll do this and do that." And within 4 hours, they'd reconnected it, and it was back
Yeah.
on. We've had other clients, and so one of my clients told me this. We had this in our documentation. That was a good way to handle it. Is that they just rang up and said, "Oh, something's happened. My kid downloaded some app onto the phone, and it started sending out a load of text messages. I've deleted the app, but it seems like something's happened with my SIM card, and it's not working anymore. Can you help me?" And they go, "Oh
Yeah.
yeah, well
Yeah.
we've blocked it because of activity." They go, "Oh yeah, sorry. Like I said, my kid did that. I've deleted the app now. Can you get it reinstated?" And then they get it reinstated. So SIM cards you can generally maybe get recovered. If you can't, it's just a standard one anyway. You can always buy a new one and get back up and running literally within minutes. Like I literally have
Yeah.
a stack here. I can see that. Like I've
Oh
got
yeah. Do you
I have a
do you
stack here
like
under my
so
desk.
can you basically
I was
just
just gonna pull one
go
out.
to any phone store and just grab one of their like I don't even know like because I haven't gone out and just bought like a one-off phone um other than like through a cell phone plan for a long time.
Yeah,
So are you just order them off Amazon? I know I've ordered a few Android phones off Amazon that work pretty well, and I think we paid like 150 bucks for them. Um,
yeah. So
kids
just
lose their phone, and I'm like, I'm not going to get you another. I'm not spending another $500 on a phone. So here's $100 Amazon phone. Um, something like that would work, kind of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. The only thing to really look out for is like that the phone obviously has to be compatible with whatever SIM plan you're buying. So you need to get like, if you get off Amazon and then you're going to go out and buy a separate SIM card, you've got to make sure
Right.
it's unlocked and it's not tied to a specific carrier because you might not want that carrier's SIM plan.
Right. I think
Makes
most one,
sense?
a lot of them I've seen on Amazon, they'll say unlocked or
Yeah.
whether they're unlocked or not. Lucha just said you can get them at Walmart too.
Yeah.
Chad was asking if you can send MMS messages. Can you send images through there as well?
You can send images out. At the moment, we can't receive them back into higher level. So if someone replies with a message, it will go into the phone, but the image will not go into high level at the moment. That's going to be fixed in Q1 this year.
Okay. But the message will go into high level.
Text
Not
will,
the text will, but not the image.
yeah, the text will, but not the image.
Yeah, so Chad
So
just asked, can
text,
they reply to you? So yeah, so if somebody texts you back through that phone, that message will go back in. Will it go into conversations and everything as well?
yeah, absolutely. We'll go through it. We can show you
Okay,
an
perfect.
example.
I got one question from Marco here. He still had your hand raised. Was there something that you wanted to ask there too?
Yeah, quickly. In my case, I have a customer that has 4 branches. So he has, instead of having a fixed mobile line or sorry, fixed landline, he's been using cell phones for years. So I'm trying to get him onto my system with the GHL. So would you recommend him using his same numbers or literally going out and buying new ones?
He has a bunch
Uh,
of different cell phones that he's already using to send text messages, or
Yes, like every store manager at each of his location has a cell phone on T-Mobile that he uses as a business number. So I would think,
probably like just from what we talked about here, I would say you'd probably want to get new numbers instead of using their manager's phone numbers.
yeah, because it depends what you want to do with those numbers when you get them in. Like if what's the usage case or what's the use case for putting them
the
into high
use
level?
case
What are
is
you going to
really just
do?
customers when they call in, right? And when they call in to make an appointment or make an inquiry, that's about
Mhm.
it.
Yeah, so if you're not okay, so
So I mean, really, it would be used as maybe appointment booking, conversational, conversation through SMS, through the live chat widget on the website, where customers are just going to be interacting.
yep. So if you're not going to be doing any more, and I don't want to say to do it in case you have issues, right? Because
Right.
buyer beware, as I said before, if you're not adding any more or not a lot more volume to it than what they're already doing, and you're just moving that into high level so that you're going to
Yep,
make it easier for them, and then you've got the contact in high level and their conversation, and it all goes through there, then
exactly. And then
that's
I would
probably a
think an
reasonable use case
external
to use the
number,
existing number,
right?
you know?
You could also
And
just set up get like a different number and then just have everything go through high level like you normally do it and have them use the conversations tab on their phone and the app and stuff like that and forward any calls to their current number. Just you never know what a client's going to do and if at some point they're like we're going to send out a blast of text messages and then burn their number.
yeah,
You just don't
that's the
know.
danger if they do something, or if they've got access to high level and they suddenly go, oh, what's this? I could send out a text blast, and they do
And then
that, they could burn their number. So that's
I
the
guess
danger.
if you don't give them access to full high level, then you probably don't have to worry about that too much.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
really a case of that volume. So sorry, Marco, but there's a good point to raise here as well, right? So that if they've got an existing number that they've had for some period of time, and you're not going to add more volume to it or not much more volume, you also can think about numbers. This is a good point to touch on. that numbers kind of need warming up a little bit too. So a little bit like email. You set up a new email account, you can't go out tomorrow and send 10,000 emails, right? They'll all go to spam, it won't work, your email will get blocked, right? Warming up a SIM card is something that you should do to get them going anyway. Okay, we've got ways of doing that. We basically provide you a little snapshot. You can put two bots having a little chat to each other for a day. Start using the SIM card anyway, but you can start them having a chat and it warms up the SIM card so that you can see there's traffic on it, right? Because imagine even if you get a SIM card brand new and then suddenly you're sending out a text message, the same message if you did a database reactivation, for example, the same text message every 5 minutes on the minute, that's not normal activity, right? So you could end up getting a brand new SIM card blocked because you did something that just doesn't look like a human does.
Mhm.
Whereas if you've got a SIM card with history that's been used for a long amount of time and it's got traction going back and forth and the bill's been paid and all that thing for a good amount of time, that's not going to get flagged as easily as well. So I don't want to recommend that you do it, Marco. Understand what the use case is and how much extra volume you're going to put through it. And if you're simply making it easier for them and you want to move that conversation into high level, then I don't think that would be an issue. If they then did something untoward and did a blast, be aware they could get in trouble. If you lay that out for them and say, hey, don't do this or you're in trouble, make them really, really well aware of it. Just cover yourself. Just understand
Yeah.
that that's a risk, okay? And I don't want you to not think that there could be an issue.
Completely. Thank you for the tip. Now, I think in my case, specifically, since I'm not going to give them access to automations or workflows, I mean, it's a window tinting service.
Yeah.
So they're not very, they don't need much tech. They just need the mobile app and it's really just the appointments and the database. Now, if I were to do a database reactivation, I would tell them, hey, let's get one main phone for your main branch. And then we can warm that up and then maybe do database reactivation and whatnot. So if it gets burned for whatever reason, it doesn't affect the numbers that they really hold tight because everybody knows them by those numbers. They've spent probably thousands of dollars in, marketing and publicity for the last years to be able to start with new numbers. So when I saw the opportunity with my SIM CRM, like there's my CRM SIM, I think it was almost perfect because it's really not adding traffic to what they're already doing. It's just integrating it to a system so they can have a contacts. Now, whoever has the phone just has, calls or missed calls, but there's no
Yep.
tracking of those numbers.
Yep. So yeah, so look, that's a use case where it might be okay. I just like to I don't like to tell people to go like, yeah, go ahead, you'll be fine. Like I don't want to say that just in case, all right. The other
So
thing for Marco, sorry,
I'll
just for
just do
you,
a
Marco, as well. You can add as many SIMs as you want. So in one sub account, we have multi-SIM functionality. So you can assign a SIM to each one of those users. So if they've all got their own number,
nice.
you can have as many SIMs as you want in one sub account and assign it to users. And you can have like a default one for the account. So you could set up like the default one, like you're saying, and have that default one for the account.
So
Awesome.
okay, that's quite interesting because I was considering I'm making a deal with him for his 5 locations to have one sub account for each location, which has a manager's phone that we would use your system. But then he from from using that number, right, it'll allow him to I mean what I'm trying to say is instead of putting all the branches on one sub account for bookings and logistics, I was going to go independent, but you're saying that we can put several numbers into the account. So technically I could have like one master account that's dealing with different numbers, or what
Yeah,
would you
so
guys say about that?
so maybe this is a good point just to jump in. I could show you a bit of the platform and just give you a
Yeah,
little
for
overview
sure.
of how that might work. Is that good?
Yep, absolutely.
So let me
What do
share
you
my
think, Jay?
screen.
You think it's one
Um,
master account or branches, like with your experience and like people that have franchises with several?
from what Gary said, where you can have different sims set up for different users. I know that we have some bigger clients that we have multiple phone numbers, and when we're running ads and stuff for them, we need to be able to trigger different phone numbers. So if somebody calls in to a specific location, then we need to trigger that phone number to go out to that location. But we do it all inside of one account. It all depends on if you want to have everybody in, like, you have the, if you want to have all the users with the conversations and everything like that, because I guess you can set it up so you can assign conversations to different people, and different people will be different users, and then each user would be one of those sub locations inside of the system. So you just want to make sure that you're not cross contaminating the conversations um,
Yeah.
for different
Let me just
branches.
show. I'll just show you how
Yeah,
that
go ahead.
works in here, and obviously demonstrating it might be a bit easier. So I'll just go through just quickly how you actually set it up. I know this is running a bit slow while we're doing Zoom and sharing screen, so just bear with my internet while we
It's
do
always like
this.
that when we're sharing.
Yeah, so we were just running through a few things earlier. So I have a little overview anyway. So this is just a little dashboard here. So you've got, like, how many messages you've got sending out, pending, what's queued, if there's any failed, what's sent, any replies that you've got. You can obviously filter that by time, and then whatever sub accounts you've got. I've just got one in here because it's a demo account. Come on, internet. Super slow.
Gary, your chat bot or your conversational bot, is that on OpenAI or Claude or another like large language model? What are you guys on?
Yeah, so the one that we provide is all on OpenAI and uses OpenAI assistants, just direct into OpenAI. So it's peanuts to run. Like, you just pay for your OpenAI tokens.
So does your user, do we add our API key, or we just pay you through it, or how do you
Use
have
your
that
own
set up?
API key. We don't take anything. We don't charge anything for that. You do it yourself and pay your
Awesome,
own bill.
awesome.
Or you can get the client and say, hey, you need an OpenAI API key, and then they can pay themselves. Or you can charge them a fixed fee and say, hey, we'll do a bot for you, and it's $100 a month, or 200 or 500, or whatever you want to charge. The Open API, the tokens are so cheap that you don't really need to charge much for it anyway. So if you just charge them a fee or throw it in and make sure that's covered in terms of your account now.
Interesting.
Oh, this is so slow.
It's great when things start just going slow. Hey.
Oh, oh.
Hey, I didn't understand this token thing. I mean, what is this? You mean the SIM card token? Can you
Oh, it's
explain that?
talking for because with Gary's system here, they have also an AI chatbot that you get access to that comes free with My CRMSIM. And he was just talking about the AI key in order to
Got it.
use the AI.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Thanks. Sorry, but yeah.
All right, just stop my screen sharing to try and make it hurry up. It's just come on.
Yeah, it just might be one of those things. Um, that's cool. Um, So while we're waiting for that, I'll put this in chat here too. So Gary has here, here's a link where you can check it out. It's a link through us, and then he's also given us a coupon code that you can use as well. And I think you said that'll give you first month for $7. Is that correct?
Yeah. Yeah, so it'll be
Wow.
90 bucks off the first month. So you get $7 to check it out.
So if you guys want to check that out while we're waiting for the internet to internet.
That's
Mate, it's
awesome,
so
Gary.
slow.
Thank
I'm
you
just
so
trying to
much.
load up the it's not loading anything. I'm trying to get, oh, here we go. Goodness me. It's so slow. All right. I'm gonna have to go to another screen after this anyway. So we have an integration part. So first part, mine's connected already. So mine's already connected to our agency, but basically come in
Yep.
here, integration, click on a button, and then it'll just follow the prompts to connect to your agency. That will install our app into your agency and into each of the sub accounts. Okay.
Okay.
Did get this to load. So all this is basically in our install and setup guide, right? So we have heaps of documentation in here. All right. So we have documentation for everything,
Awesome.
FAQs, how to install, best practice. We've got phone specs in here. We've got live chat. So we've got 24/7 actual humans on here as well that you can chat to. We also have Zoom support. So if you need help, you can book a Zoom call and someone will go through anything with you. And if you need any other questions or a demo or something, you can book a demo as well, and that will actually end up being with me. So everything is in here in our support section, right? So it's pretty simple to get set up.
Awesome.
All right. So that's the first step in our dashboard, is connecting to the account. Then we'll go to devices and we'll wait 5 minutes for this maybe. Oh, here we go. We're going a bit quicker now. All right. So we've got our devices. So a device is the phone. Okay. So you've got devices and you've got SIM cards. Now, one device can have multiple SIM cards on it. So this phone here, I've got 2 SIM cards in this phone. All right. So I've got Dodo and Mason. These are a couple of Australian SIM card providers. Okay. Now, to add a device, it's pretty simple. If I just go to this, come on, loady load. It is definitely quicker than this, guys. I promise you.
Well, it's like this whenever we're sharing on Zoom. Like my screen share goes like half speed if I'm lucky. Chad has a question. How many texts can go out in an hour?
So that goes back to what we were saying before about your SIM card provider and how many they will allow. Okay, so the max that we would recommend is 1 per minute, is the max we would recommend. So that's 60 in an hour, right? But that depends on your SIM card provider, your plan, how many they will allow you. Don't start with 1 per minute anyway. We do see people do that. They'll go out and, like I said before, they'll just go out and they'll just start drip and they'll go, oh yeah, 1 per minute, I can do that. And they'll start and they'll get their SIM card blocked. And they'll go, oh, I did what you said, 1 per minute. It's like, no, max 1 per minute. But don't start with
Right.
that. Again, go back to that sort of thought of warming up an email address, right? You can't just start blasting out emails straight away. So you need to just kind of warm it up a little bit. We have, let me go back here. Sorry, I'm pausing my screen share to try and make things speed up on my end. So forgive me, I'll come back to it.
So when it detects devices, does it just is it from you connecting the app on your phone and then it'll connect your devices that way? You just log in with your account or
Correct. It would just send it off of the device.
yeah.
So we have this SIM warm-up process. So you can install, we have a snapshot for that. Get a couple of phones, put a SIM card in each one, and then you create 2 bots. We provide you with the bot account anyway, and then the 2 bots can just talk to each other and they'll just warm up the phones basically. So it's like a snapshot. They'll just have a conversation. We just have these ones in here telling jokes to each other, just going back and forth. That's it.
Awesome.
That's pretty easy. This thing is still not loading.
Aaron asked, I know GHL has eliminated sole proprietor A2P. Can you still do sole proprietor A2P at Twilio directly? Not really a question for this webinar, but I believe you can. I actually have no idea whether you can go do sole proprietor directly at Twilio. The only problem is if you're using the LC system, then you'd have to connect that sub account directly to Twilio and manage everything directly through there if you're going to go do that. Chad has a question. If we have scheduling software, can we use API the API to trigger to you instead of a trigger in high level? If they have, yeah, so that's a good question. Little more advanced, but if they have their own, I'm assuming it's a different scheduling software. Can they trigger to your conversations using your SMS rather than using high level SMS if they're using the API?
Yeah, I guess if you create a webhook and the webhook is the trigger to start the conversation in a workflow. Is that what you mean, Chad?
Yeah, webhook, you said,
yeah.
yeah.
So if webhook trigger, that's the start of the workflow. Then it will just go to SMS. Yeah.
Yeah.
We can use gel. I don't know what gel is.
I think it's supposed to be GHL.
Oh, okay. Hair gel. I know.
Yeah. Very cool. Yeah, so once you have it all set up, then the conversations and everything just act normally, just like you're using um like Lead Connector or Twilio inside the system. So you can send and receive messages just the same, and everything will go into conversations.
Correct. Yeah. So let me just do this because this is. Refresh this. It's not refresh.
Yeah, Marco.
Gary, in terms of while we're waiting, in terms of WhatsApp, is you I got cut off when Jason asked you the question about, is it through the mobile app, through a QR code, or how does the syncing happen with your platform and the phone and GHL? Is it different
Yep. So
for
all you're
WhatsApp?
doing is,
Same?
yeah. So it's basically like, you know how you can link a device. So you can
Yep.
link like your laptop basically. So you can be doing WhatsApp on your laptop for your same account. That's
Yep.
all that is, right? We're linking a new device. So we set up a cloud device and WhatsApp runs through there. So it's not even actually running technically through your phone. We're linking another device. So we set up another device in the cloud that's running your WhatsApp through. So that's why you can link it with an iPhone. It doesn't really matter what the device is.
But I mean, like in my case, these guys have cell phones, so I connect
Yep.
them through what you're about to show. We're waiting on the internet, but I mean, is it different for SMS as to WhatsApp? Like, does it have to go through the WhatsApp integration of DHL, or it's directly through my CRMSIM integration of WhatsApp?
We just use the custom SMS provider. So it all goes through like as an SMS. It doesn't really matter. Let me explain
But I
that better
mean,
when we get to it, and I'll show you.
clients would not have to log into their or into the DHL WhatsApp integration. We just go straight through my CRMSIM.
Straight through like as SMS. It's just like sending through the SMS conversation provider. We put everything into there. There's not a separate WhatsApp connection. So sorry, I'll show you and explain it. That might help a bit better.
Yeah.
So sorry guys, like my internet is killing me this morning. It's not doing well at all. Just bought a new laptop, and I think it's because I'm recording this on here as well. And yeah, anyway, might have to do a reset. We've got another webinar to do it now. Probably just need to turn it off, turn it back on
Okay.
again.
Yeah.
So to add a device, so you add a device, you'll just type this in, which will download our Grey Label app onto the phone. Just install the app. Everyone's installed an app, so I won't go through that. And then when you sign in, you scan this QR code, and then that will add your device to the account. Okay. And then in the sub accounts in here, this is probably going to take ages again. This is the one I want to get to because this shows you where all the WhatsApp is and everything. Let me go over to, I'll show you here because I've got the support article to load while I was doing it. In the sub account, okay, you just connect locations. And you'll watch this. There's a little video here, which is just easier than me waiting for this thing to load. So we connect locations. It will pull in all the accounts you've got. You toggle on the ones that you want, hit connect. Go back to your list. And then your sub accounts get connected. The one thing you have to do in high level is just change to the custom provider. So you use our custom provider in high level instead of Lead Connector or Twilio. As I said, you install the app on the phone. We have all, there's a little step-by-step guide on how to do that in there. Start the app, sign it with the QR code, and then you just connect the SIM card here. So in the drop-down, connect the SIM card, save that, and that's you done. So now you've got a SIM card connected for SMS. Okay.
Awesome.
Do we have to connect? Or is there an app on the Go High Level Marketplace, or how do we? How does
You do it through integrations right in their back
Through
end.
integration. So yeah, so this part here, right at the start where I'll show you, this is a little.
Okay, gotcha.
So you go to integration. This one's already connected, but click on that. This will show this in a second.
It's almost too easy, Gary. This is amazing. It's
Wow.
Select your agency, allow access, enable feature, installations proceed.
Yeah.
And that's our system now connected to your high level account, to every sub account. Okay. And we don't take over every sub account. You can still run Twilio Lead Connector in any sub account. You only pick the ones that you want. Okay. So like we're showing here, we're installed into every sub account, our custom provider, but you have to manually select our custom provider to allow our system to run in that sub account. Okay, we won't automatically take over. So if you've got, I don't know, let's say you've got 50, 100 sub accounts now, and you're running Twilio or Lead Connector on all of them, but you decide, oh, I want to put my CRM sim on 10 of them or whatever it might be, you can still install our connection, our integration. It will go into every sub account, but you have to manually go in here into high level and say, yeah, I want to use my CRM sim on this account. Okay, we won't take over everything and break all your Twilio connections. Make sense?
Yep, absolutely.
Perfect. Okay, I'm trying to get this thing to.
Awesome. It seems like a really good system. Like, especially if you guys are having problems with connecting A2P or just don't want to do the hassle. But then also, there's so many countries where I've had so many conversations with people who are not in countries that have good SMS plans, especially using Twilio or I mean, whatever else is out there. I mean, I've used a few different ones over the years, but it seems like a really great option to be able to sign up, get hooked up, fairly simply, and then you guys would have resources of like what kind of phones to get and where to get those and how to do those things and just simply set it up with the app and connect it to your system. That seems like it seems nice to be able to do that without having to go through all the telecommunication companies.
Yeah.
Uh,
P. Gupta has a good
yeah.
question there. What happens to conversation coming through Lead Connector? Do we have to switch it back to Lead Connector after the campaign? So if you've already got Lead Connector, an account set up with Lead Connector, and then you install My CRMSIM and then make us the default, that will make our account the default. So all messages, all workflows, everything thereafter will go out through My CRMSIM and through our connection, right? And that number. Any messages that come back in, if you've been using Lead Connector for a while with an account, any messages that come back in will still come in to that number. It will still be connected, but any replies or anything you're using in an automation or AI bot or whatever will go out through our number after that.
Okay, yeah, that totally makes sense. I was wondering the same thing, like if when you started talking about it, if you would just end up missing those conversations. Because I've had it when we switched a phone number, we switched email providers or something like that, and then you end up losing those conversations with people replying and stuff like that. We just made a switch for one of our sub accounts. We were on Mailgun when we first got in with High Level, and then we just brought everything into Lead Connector, but it caused a few issues bringing everybody into Lead Connector from Mailgun because it just took, a couple days to have everything switch over. But that was more email
So
than SMS anyways.
yeah, so sorry for the load time issues I'm having
Nope,
here,
that's
guys.
cool.
But yeah, for WhatsApp, so once you've got your sub account connected, which we showed on the other one, so you've connected a SIM card as well. Now, you don't actually have to have a SIM card connected to run WhatsApp. Okay, you can run WhatsApp independently in our system without a SIM card. Okay, obviously, the thing with that is if you send WhatsApp messages and then there's no WhatsApp account connected to those lead, they're not going to get that message. Does that make sense? So we would recommend that you add a SIM card because in our system, what you can do once you've connected it is you can send WhatsApp only. You can send WhatsApp with SMS backup. So it will send the message out as WhatsApp. And then if it's not a WhatsApp number, then it will send an SMS after. They go, oh, that didn't go. I'll send an SMS as a backup. So you'll always make sure that you get a message to that person anyway, because you don't know with your leads whether they have a WhatsApp number or not,
Right.
when they sign up with you. All right. Or you can send WhatsApp and SMS together. Okay, so you can send the two at the same time. All right, and then the additional SIMs.
That is awesome.
The additional SIMs. This is the thing I wanted to show to you, Marco. I'm just going to stop this sharing again.
Do we know, or does the sub account know if it comes in as a WhatsApp or as a SIM, like on the conversations tab? It'll still, you know how you can identify if it's a SMS or WhatsApp, it's like a little tab. Will you know what?
Yeah, so So at the moment,
I mean, it just my experience, and now I'm dealing with Caribbean and Latin America. WhatsApp is huge. It's just the
yeah,
U.S. and I think in the world, it's just the U.S. hasn't caught on to the WhatsApp because they're married to the SMS, but it's so much more flexible, PDFs, videos, qualities, et cetera, et cetera.
yeah. So you can send all that stuff. So sorry, I'm just trying to load. Even higher level, I can't get that to load. So I'm just going to load that for a second, then I'll show you on there. So not a great day for.
Do you have an
There we go.
affiliate
Let's
program,
load.
Gary?
We do. We do.
There is, yep.
Because definitely,
Okay.
I mean, I'm in Mexico and Latin America, and one of my issues with the connectivity is just the Twilio's numbers here are only in two majors or three major cities. So the rest of the country, I can't get, I couldn't get them connected to, to have a go high level number. So, I mean, your solution is wow. And I know other high level agencies in Mexico that are Spanish speaking that they've been stuck on that for a minute until recently. They just did the coexistent for WhatsApp, but it's still not the same because I mean with your system you have dual opportunity for the number to do, like you don't have to have all the templates for the WhatsApp API or business or whatnot because you're just dealing with their own phone.
Correct. Correct. So your question was, do you know whether it's WhatsApp or an SMS?
Yep.
Currently in our system, it doesn't delineate. Like it delineates in the back end for us, but we don't have a way to show it in the front end, but we are going to add that in. So right now, this was sent as an SMS and WhatsApp, right? So it's actually sent both those messages. We don't show it twice in here to show it's an SMS and a WhatsApp version because it's the same message, okay? But you see here how you have the SMS bubble.
Yeah.
What we're going to be doing is changing this so that if it's a WhatsApp only message, it will show that it's a WhatsApp, the little green WhatsApp bubble. We'll show that in there. So the developers are looking at how they're going to do that at the moment. And then this here it says from phone. This was the message we actually reply. If you reply from the device itself, the reply will come in here as well, and it will show that it's from another device. So this message wasn't sent through high level. This was sent through WhatsApp, like on the phone itself. Okay, so they can take the conversation off on the phone. Okay.
Awesome. What's the ETA on the WhatsApp SMS? Like
Showing which is which?
Yeah.
Not sure. We were just talking about that yesterday.
Oh,
So,
okay. Yeah, I thought it was
Yeah.
awesome.
And then the last thing I wanted to show you is the multi-SIM. Okay. So the way that we work is assigning a SIM to the users. So you basically buy extra SIM cards, right? It costs $10, depending on what plan you're on, actually. It's $10 for an additional SIM in the account. Okay. You pick whatever sub account you want to add it to. Oh, I shouldn't have done that. Why did I do that? It's going to blow me out again. All right, let me come back to that in a second.
Okay.
Actually, maybe I can bring this one over here. I did have.
Are there devices, and I feel like I saw someone somewhere where you can have like multiple SIM cards in like a computer and it's not like in a phone? Like, is there a thing like that? Like, for some reason I thought I saw something like that. I don't know if that's
There are devices like that, SIM banks, basically. Ours doesn't run through a SIM bank because we need the Android
Android app.
app to be running in the device. There's kind of we looked at it as well. There's not a lot of advantage, all right?
Right.
Because phone costs you $100, all right?
Yeah.
A SIM bank that will run a number of cards, it will be a bit cheaper, but it's not significantly cheaper than buying multiple phones anyway. Like,
Yeah.
if it's $100 a phone, I mean, that shouldn't be a big deal, right? But the disadvantage is if your SIM bank breaks, you lose every single number. All right. One phone breaks, I mean, you toss it away. And
Yeah.
10 phones is about the same size roughly as a 10 SIM bank box. So there's not a lot of
Right.
difference in size. So there's not huge advantages to having it work on a SIM bank.
Fair enough. Yeah. Um, awesome. So where do you guys see like the whole SMS thing going with my CRM sim? Like what's your at you just added in you guys added in WhatsApp, better integration with high level. Like what are you seeing for like I guess the future of it or like really some good use cases or
So, a few things. So, there's a couple of things we want to fix. So this is reloaded for you now, so I'll come back to that multi-sim for you, Marco. Again, I apologize for the delays, like internet's not working well. But yeah, a few things. So one that we touched on earlier, which is getting a few things we want to fix, which is getting the MMS to messages to come
yeah,
in for images. So we want to get that fixed. Getting RCS to work fully as well. So RCS doesn't work all the time. This is in our instructions, right? But you're better off turning off RCS on the phone. If you don't know what that means, don't worry about it. It all works. It's in our instructions. But if we can get RCS working better, that would basically just mean it's a thing that you don't have to worry about when you're setting stuff up.
right.
Then the other main thing that we want to get working is calls. So we're setting this up so that you will be able to make phone calls through the phone as well. Because
Oh, nice.
right now there is no call API into high levels. There's nothing that we can do,
Right.
right? But we're gonna build into our app a way that you'll be able to. We'll have just like a custom menu link. I can't show you anything on this at the moment, but like a custom menu link with like a little dial pad and a way to select your clients, and then you'll hit dial in there, but it will physically ring through our app on the phone. Okay, so it's going to be a very simple, basic phone. There's no multi-dialer. It's not going to be anything like that. But again, I think for those construction services, that sole proprietor, whatever it might be, who wants that sort of simple system, and they might have an appointment setter that works with them or helps them. Um, they're going to be able to just connect into high level and send all the text messages. They're going to go through the phone. And then if they do need to make a phone call, they can ring them as well. And it will go through the phone on the same number.
That's awesome.
So right now, the workaround for that is that you have to still have a Twilio or a lead connector number to make the calls. Okay, they work in
Right.
sync. You can do the SMS through us and the phone calls through lead connector or Twilio. That will all work in sync. You can even mask the number if you're using lead connector. You can set the number in lead connector so that it is the same number as the mobile number you're using for the SMS. So when you call, it will ring through lead connector, but it will ring displaying the number that you're using for SMS. And again, we have all that in our
Okay.
instructions and database as well.
Judy had a quick question. Are you using the physical SIM cards or can you also use eSIMs? Because I knew some of the new phones have eSIMs in them as well.
Yep, either. Doesn't matter. eSIM, physical SIM card.
Just need to have a plan connected to it, and then that phone just needs to be able to be an Android with the app on it.
Correct. Yep, doesn't matter.
Okay.
So sorry, I'm going to go back to this thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
Load it up. I'm not going to click anything this time. Okay, but you'll pick your sub account. You have to have a user in that sub account. So let's say you want to connect, a new SIM card into the sub account. You just have to have a user for it. Okay. So in your case, Marco, you've got like if you have 4 sales guys in that one location, you just add them all as a user, and then you would add the devices, which we went through before, add the device, add the SIM, and then you'll have the SIMs as an option here. You just click in the drop down, you'll select the SIM, and that attaches it to the user. So you can see here, I've got in my CRM SIM demo, I've got this user, GHL user 2, it's just the dummy user, and they're connected to SIM 1 on the demo phone, which is Dodo Mobile. And then in the same sub account, I've got my CRMSIM USA user, because I've got a US SIM card set up just for playing around with. I've got that set up to my CRMSIM demo US number SIM 2. All right, so I've got a dual SIM phone that I'm using to run 2 numbers on to 2 separate users in the account. Again, if
Awesome.
it sounds like too much, we are rushing through it here. We have all of this in videos, tutorials in our support section, right? And it's one of those things, right? Everything's complicated when you don't know how to do it for the first time. Like literally, I can set up a new number in like 1 minute. That's how quickly it can be done. Okay. for people that are new to it, if you're going to set up a SIM card or connect something, just allow 30 to 60 minutes to set up your first one. All right. Which I would still challenge anyone to get a phone number set up with A2P and Twilio in under a day. You know, 'cause you still got to get approved and
Yeah.
so forth, right? It's still not going to happen. So, 30 to 60 minutes, you will be set up with a number and being able to send text messages. All right. Once you know how to do it, you know where the steps are and so forth and so on. You know, it's literally, like I
Awesome.
say,
Yeah.
a minute to get it done. It's really, really fast.
Very cool. Awesome. I think you guys have a really great product here, and I know I've talked with a bunch of agencies who are using it. Marco here, he's using it already as well. And I have a few people that I talked to this week that have been switching over to My CRM Sim to get their SMS messages and have to bypass all that Twilio stuff and A2P registration and everything. And they seem to be really happy with it. And it seems like you guys have a really great product. Your back end looks awesome. And it's a little bit slow on our call here today, but anytime I'm doing any kind of Zoom call, it's things are slow. That way, just sharing the internet. So I'm
We all
gonna
know we all use high level as well, right? So it's
yeah.
like
Oh man,
sometimes it's just a
sometimes it's
day.
like, we'll call you guys tomorrow because this is not working. So, I'm gonna post a link again for you guys. Again, if you guys are interested in checking it out, Gary does have a really good promo right now for first month for $7. You can click the link in chat. I think Marco has one more question. We could probably answer that, and then we should probably wrap up for the day. And I'll be sending out the replay to everybody too. So if anybody has any questions, you can check out the replay if you haven't watched it or weren't able to see the full thing. And then how can anybody reach you if they want to just ask you more questions or whatever? Just look you up on Facebook or
Uh, Probably the best thing is to go to our Facebook group. So
yep.
let's pull that up. Maybe you could drop this in the chat or on the screen, whatever. Yep. So if you've got any questions, come and join our Facebook group here, facebook.com groups My CRM Sim. Come join us in there. If you have any questions, by all means, come in here, drop your questions. We have a good community. People in there that will answer. I'm very active in here, so
Yeah.
we'll help you out in there if you need anything at all. If you connect with me, you can, you can basically go to our support section. You can use our 24/7 chat. There's like real humans on the end of there, not bots. Yeah, go through our website,
Awesome.
contact
Very
forms,
cool.
all those
Yeah.
things.
So if you guys sign up for My CRM Sim, you guys get the whole text messaging thing that you guys can hook up to any phone. Plus, like you said, you get the chat bots too that are going to help you inside your account that'll link up through your guys' system. You guys are using Consolidata for that outside thing, but it's going to allow you guys to have a really good chat bot also with your SMS marketing and WhatsApp as well. Very awesome. Um, We'll I'll get that. I'll grab the link for the group, or maybe Gary can paste the link to the group in chat there for you, Judy, and you guys can check
Yeah,
that
let
out too.
me hang on, I'll grab your link here. That one. Put that in there. Go. And then there's a code for that too. Grab that for you.
Oh yeah, there you go. Okay, awesome. And then I will get yeah, I'll send out all the links in the replay and everything too. So Marco has one last question. Let's
One
let's
last
do
quick
that
one.
and then should wrap up.
Gary, just to understand, the phone calls that you make on the phone currently do not sync. Was that right? And
Correct. Yeah, no integration with the phone calls in there at all.
okay.
So you have to set up either like a call forwarding, missed call text back, yeah, or if they've physically got the phone. I mean, the phone will work. You can physically take calls on the phone and use it as a phone. That's not a problem. But yeah,
It just won't
no
go into
integration.
high level.
What if they call through WhatsApp?
Same thing. It will go to the WhatsApp phone if you want. That's not integrated into high level either.
Okay, okay. Do you have plans in the near future to have the voice?
There's no API in high level at the moment for us to do that, so it's not a possibility right now.
Can I ask you a question about that?
Like I said, sure,
So we could forward the phones to a Go High Level number.
you could.
Yep.
So yeah, so everything would be good then.
Yeah, so you got a few options there. So you can forward the call on to a number. You can, one of the things we do, which is very simple, is we've got this with a bunch of clients. We just put a voicemail on the number that says, "Hey, thank you for calling ABC Business. Just to let you know, this number is used for text messaging only. If you would like to reach us, you can call our business number or reception at, their main business number. Or if you want us to call you, please send us a text and we'll get back to you that way." That's a really easy workaround because we personally in our agency, we have never got involved in changing or messing around with companies' phone numbers because it just wasn't something that I ever really wanted to get involved in because, if they've got their phone number they've been using for years, it's a hard conversation to make them change it for tracking and stuff. So that's a simple thing that we do a lot of the time.
So in theory, you can buy a number with lead connector with no A2P and use that number as the forwarding number to the cell.
You would forward the cell to that number, to the
Yeah,
Twilio
sorry.
number, of course. Yeah, the other way around to what you were saying. But yes, yep. Just
And
check with that and just make sure again with your SIM plans that they will allow call forwarding and that they won't charge you an
Thank you.
excessive amount for it. Because some of them, there's some of them will charge a lot per minute just to forward on from a cell phone. Some of them are inclusive,
Oh,
some of
okay.
them will charge you. So that's just something to be aware of. Again, that is that's in our pretty much I guarantee you every get this one to load now. Yeah, that needs to load. But anyway, yeah, that's all in our support desk as well.
Have you heard of any plans from high level opening up an API for external communication providers?
I have not.
They have it open for SMS, but not for like just for messaging, but not for phone.
Mm.
Yeah,
They may do. They
I
may
haven't
open
heard
it up
anything
more.
either.
Because even with SMS, it was open, but there was still, even up until a little while ago, there was still a couple of things that didn't work, like internal notifications didn't work until just recently.
Oh,
They were
okay.
locked to Twilio or Lead Connector. Now they work. So pretty much everything works now with that.
Awesome. Well, you guys, we got to wrap this up, but this has been a great chat. Gary is very informative of how your whole system works and a lot of stuff that you guys can do with it. Especially for people who, yeah, like Marco says, in different countries who aren't necessarily using, who want to use us WhatsApp, who have a hard time getting phone numbers, and who don't want to do A2P registration. You guys have, and then if anybody who's working with just regular conversations and you guys aren't doing like an SMS blast to 10,000 people at a time, I think it's a really great opportunity, a really great option within high level. And I know you guys have a growing community of more people coming on board. And like I said, I'm talking to more agencies every week who are starting to use your guys' system. So I think you guys have something really great there.
Yeah, and with the A2P as well. So another use case we have several agencies, what they do is because A2P can be a hang up, right? Getting started with your client.
Right.
So if you just have like we have, like we're not doing Twilio and stuff anyway, but if you have a couple of phones and a couple of SIM cards sitting around, you get a new client on board, you can get them set up, you can get their ads or whatever it is you're doing running straight away, notifications and all that kind of stuff happening while you're waiting for A2P to go through, but you can still get them set up and running the next day and it's not a delay for you. So we've got agencies that they just use us for that. It's like,
Yeah.
look, we've got a stopgap because we just want to know that we sign a client up and we want to have them running in 24 hours basically and working. So they can do that.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
Just getting them set up because you hear that. What do I do? What do I do for demos? What do I do for, trials? What do I do for new customers to come on and we have to wait for 48 hours or more just to get A2P registration done before we can even do anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
So one
Awesome.
of our clients, his promise to his clients is, I will have you up and running with your Facebook ads. He uses UpHex, I believe. So
Okay.
you up and running with your Facebook ads, with Messenger ads running, and an SMS bot responding within 4 hours.
Oh yeah.
So he uses
That's a
us for
good
that
one.
because he can get that up and running. That's a promise to them because they're like, well, no one else can do that, right? No one
Yeah.
else tells them that. They're like, yeah, cool, come on board. Our onboarding process is this and that and the other. He's like, no, I'll have you set up this afternoon.
Yeah.
And he knows that he can
That's
do that
awesome.
with our system. So
Very cool. Awesome. Well, I
perfect.
appreciate you guys all coming and hanging out with us for the last hour. And Gary, again, thank you so much for being on here. I hope you guys get a lot of value from this, and I hope you guys go check out My CRM Sim. I think you guys are doing a really great job there and giving everyone a lot more options and opportunities inside of High Level to get your guys' agency up and running. So thank you again.
Awesome. Thanks for having me on, mate.
All right. We'll see everybody soon. I'll be sending out the replay. And yeah, if you guys want to check it out, I'm going to post it in here one more time. The link to go grab My CRM Sim. And again, one more time, just in case you guys missed it, is that coupon code there to grab it for 1 month for $7. And then, all right, you guys, I hope you guys have a great, awesome rest of your Tuesday, and we will see you guys in a few days.